Kia ora from Aotearoa. Poppy here with the current 9th wave Mayan sacred calendar energies. And this is about 7 Eagle. So we're going into that energy of 7 Eagle, which is just about at the end of the storm day wave. So you will have experienced massive psychological upgrades. I certainly have. It's been very intense, and what an amazing amount of growth it's been. So anyway, this is about reflecting on the grand perspectives found at the great heights above the mind control matrix. And it's about serving nature's vision of sovereign life and being. So it's like the global mind and the matrix. So some of us were born tuned into the global mind, receiving general feelings of the collective emotions of humanity all around the world. And it's actually possible because this matrix, this cloud, this web, it affects us all. But many of us became hyper aware of the global mind through trauma and a compulsion to scan our fields for threats by feeling what is there. So in effect, it was almost like we were going right out of ourselves and feeling into everything and every threat and everything that could be there, which is actually a trauma response. We can sense the dawning of big events if we were able to find our way back to the cause of the feelings. And if we don't take the time to find the cause, we can stay overwhelmed in the feeling and identify them as our own. Being able to discern what is ours and what is from outside of ourselves is a key to staying well and maintaining healthy personal growth. Now, an example of this is I had some very massive feelings that came up, really distressing feelings that were coming up. And of course, it's quite a satanic ritual season, so this can happen for a lot of survivors at this time. But were they mine, or were they the whole thing? Actually, in mine, they were both. So where it came down to my feeling is that I had a horrific memory that was rising up in me that I needed to see and feel and discharge and get through. But I feel the general feeling all the time. And the general feeling can even make your own personal feeling come up. But it's really good to know what is what and what is the difference. Many of us do a lot of healing on behalf as well, but we can only do so much, and doing our own is enough. And a lot of us were used to do lots of big work outside of ourselves anyway, and that's not necessarily helpful or conducive to the life of everyone and everything. So, the matrix layer that encompasses the earth is like the veil of illusion. It's a combination of everyone's thought, energy and forms. And thoughts create things, so great lengths have been made to affect this matrix with low frequencies to keep people confused, numb, overwhelmed, etc. And the results are war, inequality and disharmony. So yeah, it's kind of like it's in the fourth dimension, and so much is done from the fourth dimension, which keeps people down. So we really need to be able to surpass this dimension in order to really gain truth. It's really a dimension of deceit and trickery that we really are learning. I'm definitely learning how to transcend it. So in order to transcend it, we may need to become masterful in identifying what is ours and what is not, and doing our part to transmute emotional energy. The cosmic energies are now highly supportive of this. So I had a very strong, intense emotional feelings, and I was doing an exercise. Actually, I'm reading a really amazing book by Barbara Hand Clow. She talks about the different dimensions and how they function, and honestly, it's really great. It just sends me off in all sorts of linear patterns of discovery. I really like it. But so I was practicing what they recommended with the fourth dimension, and that was to feel the feeling and to stay with it until, I mean, they had their way, but I used my way, which I'm used to. So you take the feeling and you just breathe and breathe and breathe and breathe into it until you go right back to where the cause of that feeling came from. So I was having like a very extreme feeling, like almost a doomy feeling. It was really tough, and so I breathed and breathed and breathed. And the moment that I recognized that that was not my personal feeling, but it was kind of like the collective feeling, like something big is coming up. And I think it's for a lot of people, it's going to feel very doomy. And for a lot of us as well, or those that are really doing the work, we will be able to transcend that and surpass that, knowing that the system is crumbling and that we're actually in the process of being between two very big cycles where we can actually possibly transcend this matrix at this time. Yeah, so this is why it's so important to slow down and interact with our being from within our own soul source stream. If we don't slow down, life will slow us down eventually to deal with it. Our bodies can pack up, as has been my experience. I should just want to make a note that the fire footage in the background here is just a slowed down little burning of all the tears that I had on the tissues that were related to my last big release of a huge memory. And it's really hard. It's really hard to see these memories. They're very horrific, but unless they are cleared, parts of myself are trapped and not able to come forward. And that I find that the more of these big memories I do remember, the more that part is released in me, and I come back more into the essence of my being. It's literally pulling myself together. Yeah, like it's more difficult than the regular person's memories, of course, to deal with. But we all do our part. We all have a different purpose, and I'm kind of aware of mine now, and more acceptance about it. It makes it easier to deal with. It's never easy, and I so often wish there was more support. But I also trust what is and how it's coming out, because that actually works the best for me. Yeah, so our stream is the awareness of and a part of Source, and it is terrible misery to be disconnected from it. One can get lost in the absolute chaos of this matrix of thoughts and emotions that are really a combination of everyone's. There's immense pressure there just now. Just like I don't expect others to take the pain of the memories that happened to me, and they can't and they don't anyway. That's my part. Only I can deal with that. But we all must deal with our own, really, to get through. And we all have had different experiences and different things to purify as a part of it. So, we're doing it together, and it is making a huge difference within the whole matrix. It's really, we're punching through. So from a very connected place, we may observe the global mind without being lost in it. We may feel some compassion towards it, but I feel care needs to be taken to not become entangled in this way too. Like with compassion, sometimes we can still become entangled. Like I used to feel so much compassion towards my mother, as she was going through her dying days. And what I found is that my compassion, she actually siphoned it, she sucked it from me, and I would go down in my healing while she would come up. It was almost like I was taking on some of her stuff and dealing with it, but it was actually too much for my body and being at that time. So this is how we can even be entangled. And so we have to be really aware of, even cords that are connecting to other people, all of these things. And, as we meditate in the still, we do find these things and we can resolve them. So from above this control system matrix layer, we may observe, hold all in love from a heart-centered place, fly above it with intentions for healing, for the all in the movement of our wings. You see these people that do these beautiful expressions with their hands, like they're almost moving the wind around, and there's power in that. We can affect a star with our voice. Apparently I read this something somewhere, and it just really resonated with me, is that the reverberation of our voice affects the all. It's really quite amazing. We may soar with great spirit on the wings of change and call the piercing eagle cry that reverberates and materializes greater ways of being and living from the cosmic love we come to know in our heart centers when we see the pure grand eagle perspective. It's a matter of trust and being. We may hold so much love for our beautiful rising earth and rise up with her as we experience our own emotional guidance system and deal with the charge of dense emotions that rise to show us what needs healing. And as we heal ourselves, we contribute to the healing the all. And so while the huge world dramas play out, there are also cosmic forces that are enhancing the source-like codes that we may all learn and grow by. Like there's massive solar storming, and we could get really big solar activity. The earth is venting, there's volcanoes everywhere, there's a lot of movement. These cosmic forces are highly supportive at this time, and we've been programmed to accept the nicer emotions. However, we cannot really experience them until we purify the most uncomfortable ones. And I sort of had to let go of like an addiction that I discovered that I had, that I didn't even realise was an addiction, and it's quite a relief, and it's really opened up more space for my inner seeing and my inner knowing to rise. So I'm really grateful. It's difficult, but it's worth it. And these cosmic energies are far above the surface levels and all the collective thought forms that hinder and confuse people. Accessing them can balance our being well as we remain grounded in the hub of our physical form. So may we rise up in frequency with our Mother Earth as we stay connected to her heart and the core of her being. So enjoy, and so much love.